Hey guys,
Hi.
working tonight. Just wanted to do a teeny weeny follow up on our Monday post and wanted to just run over a couple of indicators of what emotional intimacy may look like. Doesn't necessarily
Or may not look like.
or may not. Okay.
Oh, well, what?
Yeah, we could do both.
Either.
But this is not exclusive. This is just some just touching on a few little things here and there, but just helps I guess maybe just to get you thinking about what does it look like and in your situation. And we're speaking to primarily to married couples, but could be even just dating couples, but I think primarily for married couples, really what does emotional intimacy look like or may not look like. So maybe for us, we could just say, what were the initial beginnings or clues. And by the way, we're kind of focusing on couples in the month of August because it is our anniversary month. So that's kind of why we're focusing on that this month.
What was your question?
What would you say would be kind of our beginning, early on stages of progression of emotional intimacy or becoming aware? Learning about it. Well, not learning how, but okay, oh, that's an indicator. I see a signpost, little milestones or something like that.
Of becoming emotionally intimate. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I was thinking of the signpost that showed
how we were not.
Right.
Okay.
Not
we could
emotional
do that.
Intimacy.
Okay, we could do that.
But I'm sure
we started becoming aware of it.
Right.
And what did that look like when we became aware of it?
I'm sorry. I'm not getting it. So I'm just thinking about what we did before we even started being aware of it. Okay. Like the things
okay, go for it.
Not being able to handle the other person sharing something because we take it as a personal attack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
Or for me it was wanting you to do more than you could, wanting you to know what my needs were without me saying a peep about it.
Wanting me to read your thoughts.
Read my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's probably a common one for a lot of couples. The either the husband or wife could be wanting their spouse to read their minds and read into what they're thinking and everything like that. But genuine emotional intimacy really thinks about the other person and not themselves,
but is also very aware and in tune to themselves.
Right. What I was trying to what I was trying to say is that it thinks in consideration of the other person. It's not fair to expect another person to know your thoughts. It's only. In the Bible, it says that God is the only one that can know your thoughts. So it's not really fair. It's not a fair expectation. Yeah. So that's what I meant by consideration and thinking of the other person. Yeah. So I guess on the flip side of that, when you become emotionally intimate, you have compassion on your spouse and grace, and it is looking out for them. And considering them, I guess, just being considerate.
It's also being, I guess that would be in the case of the flip side of instead of taking things as a personal attack, you're being considerate and thinking of their side of the story versus, well, that's not what I meant or whatever. Is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think so if you're not taking it personally as an attack, you're trying to see it from the other person's perspective. Mm-hmm. You're trying to hear you're trying to listen instead of just hear. Okay, so we hear stuff all the time, but if we truly listen, we're engaging our minds, instead of just our hearts. We're engaging our minds to actually, what are they saying, and what is their perspective,
and even just being with them, like taking their words at face value. If they say they're feeling this way, then just sitting with them in that, instead of being like, oh no, I'm the problem, I need to fix it, how can I help? Not that you don't want to help when you can, but the compassion is accepting their words truly, and low stakes, with low stakes.
And early on, when you just begin to start learning about having more communication and better communication and intimacy and things, early on, perhaps you that are listening to this can be the bigger person and allow for the other person, when they're speaking accusatory language,
because they're in a triggered state,
to be able to hear it, this is how I'm feeling, even though they're not saying those words. I'm a bit more mature person, a bit more mature couple that has been a little bit longer on their road has learned to be able to express how they're feeling by saying, I'm feeling this way.
So expressing what you're saying without personalizing it for the other person.
Right.
Depersonalizing it the other person. This is how I'm feeling. This is the story I heard. This is the way I heard you say that. It's all based on what you, as the one communicating, heard or feel. It's not saying, you did this, you said that, you made me feel this way.
But in the beginning, and that's what I was trying to say a minute ago, is that in the beginning, they may not know how to use that language. So what does come out of their mouth is, you did this and you did that. But genuinely, if they were able to calm down and get down from a number 10 or number 8, number 9 or whatever, down to a 2 or a 3 on that triggered state, they would be able to admit, well, that's just how I feel.
Yeah. And it won't feel if you don't have a landing pad of pain, like what that other person did. If there's nothing in you that triggers to what the other person does, you're not going to even give it the time of day. It's when you have a landing pad of pain for what that other person said or did that causes the trigger. So it is.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's why I do want to say it is learning to know yourself, because you can't be intimate emotionally if you yourself don't know yourself, and it's a process. Like, I certainly did not know myself very well at all when we began our journey into this, but it was starting to become vulnerable where we knew certain things, and just even being able to state how we were feeling at a certain given moment. So like at the bare minimum, at the lowest level, I'm feeling this way right now. Just like that's kind of a little practice step of getting into deeper things when you yourself are still learning about yourself and not even able to express. Now I can not just say I'm feeling this way. I can give a lot more around that.
Yeah.
Because I've thought through it. I've been able to understand what's going on inside. I'm not just stating a feeling.
Yeah. So what are some other, just quickly, maybe we can kind of more list a few more of the indicators of both positively and negatively for emotional intimacy. And I thought of one just briefly, is that having maybe I say lowering the stakes on a lot of just life circumstances, learning to just lighten up a good bit. I mean, I think that was somebody, I think one of our coaches just really encouraged us to lighten up. I think what we found out is that we made everything such high stakes that it just sucked the intimacy out of our relationship.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Anything else you want to share? We've already gone over the 10-minute mark, so we'll just wrap it up there. And if we think of anything, or if y'all think of anything, would you please just, I would love to hear. I mean, just like jot down a few of the things that has been positively and negatively in perhaps your marriage. Yeah, we'd love to have we'd love to see those comments.
Yeah, get some feedback going.
Great.
Thanks so much for listening.